Hello everybody, Robin here, and welcome back to Toadstool Tarot. If you're not subscribed, please hit the like button, subscribe, and the bell for future notices. I have today for you the Trinity Tarot from Matt Paul Wisner. It's the first deck in my collection that is a square deck of cards. Comes in a little tuck box. I believe he's based in the UK. The cards come not with a little white book, but with a fold-out brochure or guide sheet with keywords for all of the cards. This is a simplified symbolic version of the tarot. You may recognize, if you're familiar with the Rider-Waite system, some of the images that make it easier to tell what these cards are. This is the back design. Nice cardstock, pliable, not overly thick, not overly thin, just right. I was drawn to this deck because I really like the simplification of the images. It's very direct. The palette is maybe not my favorite, but it's not bad. For the Fool, we have the Fool here, label, and the number 0. Just an image of someone with their head looking up, but their eyes closed, sort of open to new things. There's sort of like an atmosphere or an air about them of sort of not being focused on the here and now. Here we have the Magician with the tools of the Magician. The High Priestess. The Empress. The Emperor with the ram's horns that we usually see on his throne. And the Ankh, the Key of Life. The Hierophant with the cross keys. The Ferula. The Lovers. This is interesting, I think, sort of the fire or passion of love, along with the sort of perhaps constraints or temptations of love. You have sort of the snake from the Garden of Eden. You've got water sign and a fire sign, and sort of like smoke or mist, maybe combining the two. The Chariot. Sort of crossing the water, two directions. Laurel wreath. Strength. I like the Strength card. I think I might like it better if the lion didn't look quite as smiley or cartoony, but it's good. I like this cross here and these, like, the dotted lines rising, sort of like center of your being strength, and strength rising, finding strength within and looking to a higher power for strength. The Hermit with a candle. What else? What more do you need? Wheel of Fortune. Justice with the scales. And the sword that cuts both ways. The crown to determine justice. The Hanged One. Here we have an inverted crucifix. Again, I like this cross with perhaps spirit rising from the cross. Death. We have the end of life, sort of the blossoming or new life, maybe, horizon, new beginnings. Temperance. We've got land and sea. We've got this balance going on here. We've got sort of the fire and water symbols overlaid, becoming the star. The Devil. Here again we have some of the same symbols from the Lover's card, the fire and the snake in hearts. These are both chained to this eye of the devil. The Tower. Again, we've got land and sea. We've got a tower on fire, struck by lightning. Clouds. The Star. This is interesting. The star lighting the way, dividing the path between land and sea. We've got straight lines here for the land, wavy lines for the water. You've got leaves on both of these pictures indicating growth. Always look to that card as guidance, growth and guidance. The Moon, here we've got the wild dog, the domestic dog. The Sun, growing flowers. Judgment. Judgment call. The Key. Awareness of what you might have done or about to do. The World. Now we have the Minors with Ace of Cups. 2. Blending. 3. This one threw me a little bit. It's usually 3 cups raised in a toast, friends together. So the fact that these are sort of tumbling kind of threw me. But it almost looks like they're on a wheel, a revolving wheel, as if the cup keeps filling and emptying. It's like you might have rounds of drinks with friends. The 4 of Cups. Five. 6, we usually have children gifting cups filled with flowers. 7 choices and 7 cups. There's a lot of symbolism here in very little imagery, which I like a lot. Sort of boils down the symbolism. So the 8 of Cups, we usually have somebody walking away into the night. This sort of a sense of being overwhelmed. It's too much. Things are blocking us. We can't deal with it, so we walk away. So we look for a way out of our overwhelming situation, which kind of works here, like this little window onto the way out. 9 of Cups, all we've accomplished. 10 of Cups, in the sun, oh happy day, happy family all together. Apprentice of Cups, they've renamed the courts, so that would be your page. Learning, sort of a newcomer. Champion of Cups, which is the knight with the helmet here. Partaking of that whole cup experience, that activity. Keeper of Cups would be the Queen. We have a heart here for the compassion of the Queen. Looks like an inverted crown. So it almost looks like teeth too. So like heart and teeth are sort of like opposite ends or ideas about compassion involving the cup. That sort of constant flow of balance. Crown of Cups, which would be the King. It's interesting, we've got a heart on the cup here. It's just, you know, heavy is the crown. It's so heavy it falls down. Rule with compassion. Be aware of the flow and don't disrupt your kingdom. Wands, Ace of Wands. 2, we typically have someone with a globe in their hands and beginning a journey, trying to decide what they're going to do, where they're going to go. 3, here we have a plan framed out. We can see an image through our frame as to what we're going to do, where we're going to go. 4, we have that celebration. 5, conflict. 6, accomplishment, achievement, celebrated. 7, defending your achievements, accomplishments. 8, movement, action. 9, defense, perhaps. Building a wall between you and others. Defending your territory. 10, all you've accomplished, heavy burden. Lots of things to deal with. Apprentice. Getting the long-range look on your passions. Champion of Wands. That fiery energy moving forward. Keeper of Wands, which is the Queen. Wondered about this, but in the RWS we usually have a little black cat at the foot of the Queen's throne. I also like here in this key we've got an arrow pointing up, and here again an arrow pointing up. Both of them, those triangles in that direction indicate fire for wands. We also have a sort of a fiery sun, but it looks like a sunflower. So we have that element of growth in the flower and the leaves on the wand. Crown of Wands, the king. Again, that nod to fire. Now the swords. These look like teardrops in this border. This is always a difficult card, sometimes heartbreak, sometimes a reconciliation of awareness between the heart and mind over things that you feel emotional about. Here, I like in this Four of Swords, not only do we have a sword at rest, these three, the swords are at ready for battle, but these three are also resting on a rack on the wall. Five Swords. 6. We have that travel across the water to new lands. We have the butterfly, symbol of the air. This is the air sign. Seven Swords. Ghost of one. One removed, taken away. Taken away by a thief in the night. 8 Swords. Feeling surrounded. Trapped. 9 Swords. Troubled sleep. 10. The end of things. New beginnings. Clouds may be appearing or parting. Apprentice or Page of Swords. Study. This is the sign of words and thoughts. So this is perfect to have books or study involved in that, engaging the mind. The Champion or Knight of Swords. The Queen again. Here we've got another, looks like a crown. I like that the keys are different in different cards. I'm not sure about this. This may symbolize the Trinity. It's called the Trinity Tarot. Don't believe there's an explanation as to why, but perhaps mind, body, spirit. It's the King of Swords or Crown of Swords. I'm not sure about the moons on this one. I have to think about that. I don't really think of the king or the sword air element so much with moons. And pentacles. like this one. We usually have what appears to be like a miser clutching 4 pentacles. Here we've got them locked away in a trunk with a key. And this is interesting, 5 of Pentacles. Usually people, unfortunate people outside of a church in the cold, suffering. And here we've got sort of beads that have come unstrung from the chain, as if to say we're all connected, and some of us may come loose, but need little help, need to be gathered by others back into the chain of life. Here we have sort of the charity card, a little bit of help. 7 Pentacles, the gardener. 8, the worker. 9, achievement, celebration. 10, happy home. 'Page, we plant and reap. Plant your seeds in the ground, they grow. This is the suit of material concerns. Champion of Pentacles, the Knight, of course. And we have plants growing again. And we've got plants and minerals, elements. We've got, this is the Queen, Keeper. I love this sort of like radiating or eddying energy out from the center of the pentacle, radiating outwards as if like ripples in a pond, affected by the things we collect, accumulate. The material actions we take affect ourselves and others. Again, a different kind of key. We've got a cross here, lemniscate here, another crown, and the King of Pentacles with the ram's horns again. Sort of like this red and green kind of stop and go action here with these jewels. So it's a thought-provoking deck. I think a very interesting one. I don't know that I can adequately shuffle these quickly while we're doing this walkthrough. I might do a little bit of a spread. Let's see what happens. Oh, I forgot to tell you the size of these cards. Do I have something to compare handy? Let's see. Here I've got a standard tarot card. So they're shorter than standard and a little wider. Almost like a oracle card, but not quite as big. You can fit them in your hand. You can handle them fairly well. I'm not ripple shuffling. We'll see what happens here. It's going to take a lot more shuffling than this to fully randomize these, but let's see if this deck has something to tell me. Looks like I'm going to have to do a lot of thinking, maybe thinking before I speak regarding this deck. Giving it due thought will be cause for celebration. And as I'm just a beginner with this deck, I need to study it a bit. Study will prove profitable. As always, keep a balance. Work on study with the guide, study with other sources, but also keep the intuition aspect of these cards flowing. Okay, thanks for joining me for this little walkthrough of the Trinity Tarot by Matt Paul Wisner. And I will see you all soon.